For you in a partner, what were you looking for in a partner that is potentially a long-term partner?
She needs to have a big welcome back to the Playbook. This is your boy Lion, joined by my co-host Mr. E and Doug. How are you fellas doing
Outstanding,
Feeling
baby.
amazing.
today? And we have a very dope guest today. She's an artist, an entrepreneur. She does a lot of great things for the community. Azeera. Azeera, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little more about yourself? What do you do? What's your business? What are you working on right now?
So, I am a local, national, and international entertainer. I work as a belly dancer. I've worked as a belly dancer for 26 years, or going on 26 years. Yeah, I
That's
teach.
my age, actually. I'm 26 at heart.
Were you born? Were you
I'm
born?
23,
I'm
so-
26 at heart. Just the same way I'm 6 feet at heart.
Yeah, that's
I'm 23, so
Damn, everyone's making me feel old.
that's laughable. Since since we are significantly older than you. I remember when
Speak for yourself.
Right, okay. Lion, I'm taking you with me, baby. You old in a mug. You're close enough, man.
Oh my gosh.
No, you guys you're definitely the baby on the panel, but these guys are pretty young too compared to me. But that's all right because I'm drinking milk and I'm in the gym every day. So shoot, don't sleep on it.
showing the pecs, Doc. Showing the pecs. There you go.
Pec pump a lot.
Let 'em know.
Don't play. Send the gym 6 days a week, last 45 years. That's how we do it.
You don't
That's
want
how we
that
do it.
problem.
But
You
let's-
don't want that
You don't
problem.
want to. So
Let's
yeah.
bring it in. Let's bring it in.
Hey, I want to tell you guys, so he says she's a belly dancer. We know each other from salsa. That's where we met. She's a phenomenal salsa dancer, great salsa dancer, but she's also a great belly dancer.
Thank you.
I didn't, like I said, wasn't sure when she said she was a belly dancer that she was going to be a really good belly dancer, but I was like, okay, she's a belly dancer.
Like those social media.
Yeah,
belly dancers.
right. And then I was like, oh, she's a belly dancer. She's doing the damn thing. So yeah, it's good to have you because we talk about the age. When I don't know how old we were when we met, but you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And then we did a photo shoot once with some cars, and Rebecca, shout out to Rebecca,
Oh my gosh.
Ernie did it. Yeah, and that was like you were maybe 18 or 19 then.
I think I had just turned 18 or 19. No, yeah, I was 18.
So that means that was how many years ago? I'm making you
That's
do math.
That's what, 14 years ago?
Ouch. Okay, now that I got punched in my kidney with that reminder.
I was only 12 then.
Were you? Is that how I knew it was something like that, Lion? So yeah, but no, she's a fantastic dancer and a great person, and we're thankful to have her here on the show today. Great energy, great personality.
Perfect. So to switch up for our topic today, we're gonna be doing a topic that's very popular online. Some would say some of the red spill spaces. We just wanted to tackle it because there's always a lot of back and forth in this topic, and it is are men's and women's expectation of their partners unreasonable nowadays? Azeera, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, just knowing from a lot of people who are currently looking for relationships, it's so diverse. I feel like social media has played a huge role on manipulating how people can feel about what they look for in a partner or what they look for in a relationship, or maybe even not looking for a partner or not having a relationship. I feel like people have become so divided and separated that I don't even know people really know what they want anymore. So I don't really have a defined answer to that, but I do feel that right now the expectations for so many are there's a lot of women that are just tired of being the breadwinners, and they're tired of being the moms, they're tired of being the maids, they're tired of being the cooks, they're tired of playing every single role in the relationship. And then you have the women that want to be taken care of, that don't want to work, that just want to stay home. I think it just comes down to preference. I do feel that there's a lot of unrealistic expectations that people have for everyone around them.
I'll tell you this. This is the popular one that I hear, at least from the women's side, that the men complain about. It is the 3-6. 6 feet, 6-pack, 6-figure income. In your circle, in your friend, is that something that you feel is realistic? That every single one of my girlfriends, that's all they need, that's all they're looking for. I can tell you, I never run into that issue being 6 feet at the heart. I meet requirements as the height. But is that something that you have encountered in your friend group?
Yeah, I feel that some women that I have become, even actually some men as well, they are very physical about who they're with. They care more about physique or for their outside skeleton persona versus who they are and how they treat that person. Yeah, I do see that in some of my friends, but I also feel that that's also a learning experience for them.
Men, and you're right, men are very visual. They are gonna go for, and there's different tastes. Everybody has like what they see as beauty. Yeah, the number one thing most guys are gonna look for is the physical. Once they get to a certain stage in their life, that they have some experiences, that they know exactly who they are, what they want, that they start appreciating other factors more than just that physical. So that happens. That is just the reality of it. What are your thoughts on that?
So me from
You're looking for 6 feet, six.
what am I looking
six-pack,
for specifically?
And six figures.
What am I looking for specific? Exactly. No, I feel like a lot of people treat it like they're going to see Santa Claus and they sit on their lap and Santa Claus is like, what do you want, young girl or young boy? It's like, I want a unicorn. It's like, it's not realistic what you're looking for.
Unrealistic
You know,
expectations, yes.
Exactly. And that shows your sign of maturity. Like you're not fully developed to see what's out there and what's realistic. 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack. You may get it. A lot of them won't statistically. That doesn't line up. You know, take me for instance, 6 feet, 6 figures, no 6-pack. So like I'm 2 of the 3, and you're not going to get that in me. So I'm like 1 down. But
It's a little flex there.
I'm just saying like they will look at some of them will look at me and be like, no, you don't have it, and then that's real, right? Like, but understanding that finding a mate and finding a partner, not a mate, finding a partner is bigger than that. There's more to it than that, you know, than just checking off a box or whatever. You know, there's a person that's going to stand up for you. I mean, that doesn't come up. There's a person that's going to go out of the way for you. That doesn't come up. You know, what struck my mind, which as a guy I never thought of, but women think of all the time, is like when women have said this to me, is like, oh, when I'm around you, I feel secure. That's something I never look for in a woman, right? But that's something that women are looking for. Oh, when I'm around you, I feel like I can act like myself. Blah blah blah. Those are things that don't come up that are important to a relationship. When you're beyond the superficial and you just want to operate within your partnership as your own self or whatever, these are things that are important. There's more things that go into it. So someone saying, oh, I want this, this, and this, and if you don't have it, I'm not talking to you. I think for me, that shows your level of maturity.
You're immature. You're being nice about it. So I'm going to call you out. I don't care. 6 feet, 6 figures, and I'm still clinging onto a 6-pack just like this. Married, my wife. That's why I got the trophy husband plaque from my wife.
That's a flex.
I got 2 out of the 3.
Oh, it hurt.
I got 2 out of the 3. You figured out which one I'm missing, but I got 2 out of the 3 because I'm 6 feet apart.
It's 6 feet apart. That's it. Yeah. So but you said, and I think Lion said the same. You know, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I think you said it as well. It's okay. Guys are typically more visual than women. It's okay if the first thing that you look for in a person is something that you're physically attracted to. That's okay. If that's what got you in the first place. It may be something, a physical trait about their body and attribute. It may be their smile, their eyes, you know. It's not going to be the same thing for everyone. And it's okay for people to be attracted by something physical very superficially and initially. Things that you should look for in a partner that immediately you should get beyond the superficiality, and you should be looking for things that is going to make the person somebody that's going to add value to your life and that you're going to be able to bring value to their life. You know what I mean? And you can't do that with a checklist where it's like you're applying for a job, because it's like along the same lines of what you're saying, piggybacking off of that, E. If you're going to say, if you go to a job, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a physician, right? You don't get to walk in and go, yeah, I want to be a doctor. Okay, so let me see your resume. What's your CV like? Do you have a medical degree? Well, no. I have a bachelor's degree in art. Then what you applying for? Let's just be logical about it. Let's right. Analogy to something more logical. So in the real world, you know, if you're going to make things more cold and transactional, then don't try to apply for a job that you don't meet the minimum requirements for.
Yeah.
Lion?
On the other side of that, I'm gonna ask Azeria this: have you encountered? Because there's a lot of men that are expecting women to do all these things for them, cook, clean, don't ever like talk back to them, and you know, this just to basically holding in this high pedestal, and they have nothing to really offer. Have you encountered that in your life?
I have. So I also, and talking to someone who has a doctorate in psychology, how a man is raised by his mom plays a big role as well. So I've seen a lot of single moms that have raised their children, and God bless them. But these men will also have these expectations of the single mom, you know, providing, cooking, cleaning, doing everything in the circle, that playing both roles. And I think that also kind of manipulates, or not just necessarily manipulates, but that kind of sets an expectation for people, like, oh, well, my mom was able to do it, so the woman I'm going to be with should be able to do the same things that my mom was able to do. And it may be a subconscious thing. There's a lot of people and men, and I don't want to say even just men, it could be women as well, that have these expectations that, oh, they can do it all.
Right.
And
right.
it's
The men can do it all, or the women can do it all?
That the women
can do
in their
it
life.
all.
Okay.
You know, that's so. That's all about. I think EU said something about finding your person.
Right.
So relationships are about finding someone who you're compatible with, that you can be happy with for however long you would like to be with them. If it's a short term or if it's a long term, if it's a lifetime partner. Like, I don't care. Like, I knew when I mentor kids, I don't have kids, I mentor kids. When I'm talking to my kids about what they want to do with their careers and things like that, and how much they want to make, how much you think you need to make, I go, hey, do you want a husband or a wife? Do you want them to work or stay at home? Do you want a trophy husband, a trophy wife, a trophy partner? So are you going to make all the money? Do you want kids, 1, 3, or whatever? So you take all these things in consideration, different things matter to different people. Like, for me, you know, my mom was very much a maternal mom who worked and still took care of the house. My dad was a military guy, but I'm also very self-sufficient. I'll clean and cook, and I did it. You know, people always, when I was single, thought I had some woman helping me dress or decorate because my place would be spotless and I had food. It's like, no, I do this on my own. So when I was looking for a partner, when I found my wife, I didn't care if she cooked. Fortunately, it worked out because she's a doctor and she doesn't cook very much. You know, we eat out a lot. We have somebody cook in or something. But I mean, really, that wasn't a big deal to me. You know, she's my ride or die. She's a beautiful person on the inside. She's definitely a boss and driven. The things that, you know, so we had a lot of things that, like, we complemented each other, the yin and yang thing, but also we had core value systems and things that's way more important for me than does somebody cook or does somebody clean, because that's not what I'm looking for in a partner. I'm like, my job, I can cook and clean for myself, and then I'm going to make enough money and I'm going to hire somebody to do it for me. I don't need my partner to do that. You know, I want my partner. Yeah. E?
Yeah, no. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So, like, I come from a strong line of women. My grandmother, like, you know, back in racist times or whatever, became the manager of her department in the government, brought a house herself, and brought a car herself. My mother, you know, she ran a business, and also she was a PTA president. They demanded that she become the PTA president of my school or whatever. So she was doing both. So it's like, I need someone that can operate in that same space because I've seen that as possible, right? Yeah. I don't necessarily need anybody that's going to cook or clean or whatever. However,
luckily,
I do. Luckily, she does. But
right.
when she wants to. But however, I view us as a team, and in a team, everybody has to bring something to the table. There's no one that's sitting around doing nothing or whatever. I honestly, I don't have time for that. Like, and I told her, I was like, yo, if I actually become rich or whatever, $100 million, $2 million, it's not $2 million, $100 million, $2 billion, whatever. If you maybe you don't want to get a job, join a nonprofit. You have to do something. You're not going to sit around and do nothing because that's not why God put you on this earth. He put you on here.
Well, most people don't function.
Yeah.
Well, most decent people would not be. I mean, I'm retired twice, but I'm always. But if on my calendar, if you look at my calendar, you would think that I have 4 jobs. You know what I mean? Because I work out 6 days a week. We have our nonprofit that we work on. We have a software and a hardware company that we're starting up.
Right.
I'm writing 2 books. We do this. So I think that most of us are going to have people that are. I think I'm like you. My mom was a really strong woman. All my sisters, I've always had strong women around me. And to me, I did not need for them to cook and clean for me. We just need to, as a team, come up with how we make sure the house is clean and that we both eat,
Right.
and then the rest of the time we spend building our empire. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, Azeria, if you want to answer, you don't have to answer.
Oh, you have to answer it. You're in a hot seat now. No.
Have you sat down and look, you know what, have some conversations with yourself and so you know what, this is what I need in my partner, in the man that I'm looking for. I don't know if you have a partner or not, but these are my requirements. Have you okay? Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah. So.
Doesn't mean, guys, do not go on her website and be hitting her up.
Yeah,
Like,
please not.
what a coincidence. I do the same
like,
thing.
I like the same thing.
Yeah,
How
right.
did you know?
I like long walks on the beach by sunset too. Yeah, what?
I belly dance too. No,
Right. Oh, because hey, if you come on there talking about you belly dance, we want to see.
I mean, there's actually surprisingly amount of male belly dancers that have actually just blown up in the community. So
do your thing, King. Go Kings.
I'm gonna stay with you, Mama. I'm not. Hey, I'm all for the equal opportunity, gender, whatever. But
Might do a bathroom break.
It's kind of
that
like
time.
to
It's
me
all
that's
good,
almost
yeah.
like no, I'm good. Yeah.
Push you up to the Athenian Gardens.
So I have had a lot of things that I do believe that each relationship is kind of like a stepping stone of what we're looking for in a partner.
I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah, because you learn what you don't want or things that you may have wanted in a relationship before, and then you get that, and it's maybe not what entirely aligns with you. I don't want to say I have high expectations of the person that I'm with, as long as I feel supported, as long as, like we've talked about, communication, there's trust, obviously, is a huge thing, and then just mutual respect. Just mutual respect of each other.
Big. Those are big.
Those things are definitely requirements for when it comes to a relationship for me. Money thing isn't really huge, but it does sometimes show a person's character. But the money doesn't also show that you don't make a lot of money doesn't mean you don't work hard.
Right.
You can
right.
Look at these people that the men, especially mostly men that have these jobs, they put their life on the line and they don't really make a lot of money, but they have those, like you said, core values when it comes to a relationship. So I have thought about that before, but each relationship I've been in, it usually changes.
And I want to touch on that because I think it's huge because, had money, lost money, had money again, whatever.
Yeah.
As a guy, you have to make sure that the money doesn't define who you are. That's important. Yes. And we were talking about security and blah, blah, blah. Knowing who you are before the money and with or without the money is integral. Because if you were living somewhere else, you could have a good life. If you were in a different country, it would cost you less to have a good life. Who are you? How do you operate outside of, in the U.S., 6 figures, which honestly, 6 figures, unless you're like 250,000, 400,000, isn't that much. But if you're like, whatever. So
I don't know. I don't know. I do all right. I can.
No,
do a lot of stuff.
to do stuff to get to that next echelon. And
well,
Doc
then
knows
again, you want 100 million. So
yeah. No, I'm just saying, you can do some stuff, but you're not doing lavish stuff. You're not and Doc knows, and back me up on this or whatever. Or maybe you leave me hanging. I don't know.
I'm just listening. I didn't want to
listen.
So, but the point, and I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt your point. Yeah.
The point is, and I was just trying to cross between the 6 figures, but the point is to be a good person and to find your person with the, you have to be able to support your family, but you also can't base it just off of the figures
on fiscal. Yeah, and that's why I didn't really jump in. I didn't want to, because I thought that's where you're going with it,
Right, right.
And that, I mean, it's correct. It's for me, people that have known me forever, the ones that have, they'd say, you're the same guy you've always been. You know what I mean? But because you build your character and your self-esteem based on other things, that's what should happen about who you are as an individual. What you've done to contribute to society and your friends' lives and your family's lives and things of that nature. Because, I think it was Martin Luther King said it, but a bunch of people said it. I even said it. I would argue I maybe said it first before him. No, I really didn't. But it's talked about how you define one's character. Like it's easy, when for people to be positive. The true defining, true definition or true judgment scale of one's character isn't how they perform or exist when things are going great, but how they deal or exist in times of adversity.
For a man, this is my opinion. Maybe the minority on it. The reality that coming from very humble beginnings, I think money is used as a measure of success. And as a man, you have to have certain success in certain things to build that confidence. Whether that's sports, whether that's at a small business. You don't have to necessarily make six figures or be a millionaire, but you have to achieve that level of success. And I think money is kind of like the easiest way to kind of measure that success. That you have success on something that can be quantified. Because when you walk with a certain step, when you're good at something. Very early on, I was very good at baseball. Dominican.
Yep.
So it's a given.
Typical.
Hello, let's talk about it. So you start feeling you build yourself up on those successes. It lets you know that you can pretty much do anything you want as long as you put that effort into it. If you have someone, you look at some guys that they don't seem to be doing much, and they do the same thing over and over again with very little success. That existence gotta be miserable, and they have a relationship that might bring that into that relationship, create something like a toxic environment. That's what I think that.
What is the saying that Albert Einstein?
The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
I think you said it makes your nose bleed. It makes my nose bleed too, because coming from Jersey, that was, and at the time, that was the culture. You get this, you get that, so that you can act like you have all of that, blah, 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 but really you have nothing, right? And that's what I had to step away from at that time. It was like, why are you doing this? Why are you buying that? Oh, it's so that they know. Fuck all the people. I don't give a goddamn about them
because
they don't.
Bills?
Right? Yeah, bro. I never.
They don't. Yeah, and so like for me, is bigger than that. I forget the point that I was going to make, but I had something that was going to be good. I promise you. But
stay tuned to be continued.
Right.
Exactly. But it's about you, and it's about not flashing, just being real to you and being the right person. Go on.
Well, Lion, look. So what about you, man? You're not getting off the hook, bro. For you in a partner, what were you looking for in a partner that is potentially a long-term partner?
She needs to have a big heart and like.
I was like, he's gonna say it.
No. Listen. I'm gonna keep it real. No, you need someone that you're attracted to. That's
Absolutely.
But the personality has to be there. Honestly, someone that you know that I don't have to. Someone that has your back, because I did a few people, and some people you can tell when you're in that relationship, they're out there for themselves. What can they get from
the relationship? Yep.
What are you providing to them? And then at the moment that you're no longer able to provide that, they're gonna bounce.
I got it.
So if I have someone that as I'm dealing with and treating with them, and I feel, this person has a vested interest that I do well.
Is riding with you for
she
you
got
and
my
for the
back.
relationship.
Like,
yeah.
When you get that feeling, it's hard to describe. When you get that feeling, like, oh wow, I want to stay here.
Well,
That's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I think beauty is very common. There's a lot of beautiful women.
And it's fleeting.
It's
not going to be there forever.
We're lucky enough. I've been lucky enough that wherever I go, there's always. I'm in an environment that you have access to a lot of people, and with access to a lot of people, access to a lot of people that are attractive, and you can meet 5, 6, 10 new people every day in the environment that we're in.
More
Right.
if you're
So
on Instagram.
beauty is not something that's gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta stay with this person because I don't know. No. It's what is the character of this person? What do they want out of life? And are they really in this for us, for both of us to be successful? So that's what I hone in. That's what I'm looking for.
I like it. I like
Absolutely.
it. So look,
Go ahead.
E, what were you gonna say? I was gonna say along those lines. Then
Go ahead. If you're following up, follow up.
man. Okay, so this comes up a lot, and I just want to talk about it with my people here on this panel tonight just a little bit, because I have strong feelings about it, but not in the way that most people do. You hear these terms, people talk about the body count.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the body count. How much is do you think it's a thing that should matter to men, women, and how much does it matter to you?
First of all, cleanliness.
See, that's way more important. Like you said, yeah.
And to be able to say a spiritual side, just remember whoever you sleep with, you embody that person's energy.
You're scared. You're scaring me now. Now I'm scared. No,
Yeah.
I'm just.
Fire.
Right? No.
Some brujeria. You're exchanging energies. Like you're taking on, and let's be real, like everything is an energy. Even an STD and STI, you can take that on. So
Oh yeah.
I think it just depends on the person. It can be alert that body count can be an experience. It could be fulfill a fantasy. It could be anything for that person. If it truly matters to that person and they want to start a relationship and it's something that they can't get over, then maybe it's not going to work. Necessarily for me, preference. I don't think a body count really matters. As long as, first of all, is you're a clean person, you're a pure person on the inside. Your intentions are another huge thing for me. What are your intentions? Because don't waste my time.
You heard it. Don't waste their time. Don't come on their site talking about you a belly dancer and you're really not either. So no, that's solid. So you're saying basically, essentially, that to you the body count itself, in its very simplistic form, is not such a big deal. It more has to do with who the individual is, how they present themselves, what their intentions are, and who they are as a person. Which is a very evolved answer. What about you? E? Let's take it to the end. What about you?
I was gonna blow the spot.
I saw you ready. I saw you. That's why we jumped to E, because I see you. I see
save
you.
it for the end.
E, what are you thinking, man? Body count matter?
Body count doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, it's more about the person, and honestly, you're never as good at what you do if it's your first time as opposed to a little bit.
See, you getting all deep and
After.
philosophical about
Yeah.
it, but that's
That's been good from day one.
that's
He's been great
yeah.
at it
I
from
We
day
was
one.
don't
like,
want
yo,
any virgins. Yeah.
No, but you know what? That's a whole different discussion we could have with some other people. Maybe a friend who's a sex therapist or something. When you talk about guys who are attracted to virgins, right?
E, let me
I
ask you a
think
question.
There's a cultural
Fire
thing,
away. Go
but
ahead.
sometimes that's because you're insecure,
Right.
And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
want to teach. I don't need any.
So I
rookies.
gotta ask
No,
you a
hit
question.
him,
Go ahead,
hit
go
So
him
he
up,
told
man.
me that the body count doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
E, what's your body count?
Oh!
Because it doesn't matter. You should be able to say it, right?
Wait. Stop. Don't say anything. I was a special agent. I'm a psychologist, but I'm not an attorney, but I still know enough about law to say, don't say anything
Hold on.
right
What
now.
did Chappelle say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. I plead the
This
fifth.
is my view on it. The fact that we have to ask the questions that matter means that it does matter. Because no one goes like, you know what? I've been with 300 people, 500 people, 5 people. No one says that. So the fact that we have to that we may have the question means that it does matter. It matters because, I'm never gonna ask someone that I'm with how many people. I never ask that question. How many people you're being with? Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer.
There.
Because
There.
if you let's say you're with someone, you find this is the most wonderful person in the world, and yeah, you're in the belief that body count doesn't matter. That you find out 3,000 people. You're like, oof.
Body blue?
What you say?
Body blue?
You're like,
Yeah.
after the fact, you find that out. You're like, man, but that body
Song
count
3001?
matter at that point, right? So you never know. So don't ask questions you don't.
Do you
want
watch
the answer
Jay and
to.
Silent Bob? Which was it? Which Jay and Silent Bob movie was it where she said she hadn't slept with many people, but then she said she like did oral with like, I don't know, 75 guys, and the dude's like, that's like 150 sets of ball, whatever. He like broke down the math, So anyway,
No,
Jay.
no, but the fact that we had that question, I think it does matter. But I don't think you should be. It's not something that you should be going around asking people, because the answer might shock you. Most people are gonna. Who's keeping count? Like there's people like really out here like, let me put in my book how
Oh
many,
yeah,
like,
some people are
listen.
keeping count. Some people are keeping count because their number's that low, and some people are keeping count because it means something different to them, like it's an esteem thing.
Yeah.
Where like I would tell
Right.
people, even in my younger and more rowdy days, even if I, like I never ever looked at women as conquest or like tick marks or whatever, but I know many guys who did, and so. Those people, usually the reason people would do it either is because it's so low, it's easy to keep track, or because it means so much something else for their esteem. Now, E, I'm going to swing back to you, man, because you said the body count doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
Harold said you gave a very good answer.
Who?
Oh, that other guy, your cousin, Lion's cousin. But he said that something that Uhura and I always talk about, don't ask questions that you really don't want to know or can't handle the answer to.
Yeah.
That's an adult, mature thing to do, because I see people do that stupidity all the time. Hence, the whole thing that happens where somebody's their boo on Facebook one week and then the next week they're not their boo because you've asked a question you couldn't handle the answer to, and you thought you were, But what about did the body count? Did the body count matter to your significant other? Do you think
No.
it didn't? Okay,
No.
because that's what I was going to tell you before you were going to answer. I was like,
But the good thing for E, he was
don't answer. E.
I know that E was a virgin. Like, so E, give me pristine.
Honestly,
Brand
no,
new from the
but
back.
And
yeah.
pure as the driven. What do they say? The white as the snow, driven snow, whatever the verbiage is.
Undriven snow. I
He,
Yeah,
guess?
whatever.
he
Yeah.
almost became Pope.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
the man was pristine.
Hey, we have a black pope now.
Do we?
Oh, he's people come from New Orleans. That's Seventh Ward.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
another episode.
Yeah.
That's Seventh Ward. You already know, Wody.
He's from Peru.
Holla at your boy. Has people come from? He is.
He's from Peru.
The Pope.
He's
the Pope
a-
is a brother.
he's
You
a Bill
would think.
Clinton
You do
of
the
Popes.
research.
Spanish.
He's a Bill
He's
Clinton.
Bro, how many Spanish speaking people are really brothers?
He speaks Spanish.
We'll say
So
that
do
for
you, and
another
you're gonna
episode.
get pulled over for driving while black if they see you. You speak Spanish.
I have. Listen, so
Right,
I
right.
for another day.
So
Another episode.
another episode.
Multiple
So look,
times,
the body.
yeah.
So you said the body count doesn't really matter to you. You're not gonna ask the question. Does your girl?
But I believe it matters in general, because people have that preconceived notion that if it's too high, it's a bad thing. For some people, it's a badge of honor. I think it does matter.
It's true. I don't think it matters. So I'm going to be the guy who says oppose. And not just does it not matter to me, like E said, but I don't think, like what you're saying, Lion, it doesn't even matter in that capacity, because I don't. Ben and I had a discussion about Sierra, right? Sierra's good looking.
Who?
Sierra. No, Sierra. No. Sierra, Russell Wilson's wife. Sierra from the ATL.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she has like a lengthy list of guys that she dated. Look it up later if you get bored. And
I thought you meant Cassie.
no. We're not. No Diddy. Take that. Here's the thing that would bother me about that. It's not the body count. It's not the number. It's like, and I think this might resonate with everybody. It's like, if you find out who some of the people are that they were with before, that might be problematic for you. Like for me, like it's like I found out you were with him and he's a moron or he's a douchebag. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it's not about the fact that you were with him or
You worried about the
150
douchebag energy rubbing off on you.
well, that, but it's just that I thought you had better taste than that. You know what I mean? And you could even make it justify it. Like you could be like, well, I was young when I hooked up with him. Or you can even be like, I was horny. I never wanted a relationship with him, and he's good looking. Okay, I can even work with that. But if you're like, he was my dude, he was your boyfriend that you were dating, and he's a douchebag, and you dated him in your 30s, then it has not to do with the fact that you slept with him or how many people, but it has to do
Her
with
judgment.
your judgment. And
You're
that's,
more worried about her
that's
judgment
what's gonna be-
overall.
that's right.
Because it might fail you
That's a good
at some
point.
point in a relationship.
Yep, 100%.
I think that's valid.
But
I
it
think
also
that's
could have been a learning experience for her.
It could have been, but that's what I said. Was it when she was 19 or was it when she was 35?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's the big, and I'll factor that in. You get grace. If, I was 19, I was 21, I was at spring break. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But like, no, you had a chance to talk to that dude in great depth, and you were 35 and he's 40 and he's a D-bag or he has a horrible personality, or is it bad people, or he's mean to other people, he's rude to people at restaurants. You know, we see that he's an asshole. You know, that's
interesting because I never, we've had conversations, never thought of that until you brought it up. Still doesn't bother me. I think I'm on the other side. Like, maybe I don't know. Maybe I like taking them from the guy or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe he's like, hey, things are better now.
Right,
I don't know.
Captain Save us.
No. Just showing them a different side. That's all. You know, they
different perspective.
Yeah, they have a chance to choose. But
I like that for you, Eve. I think it's garbage, but I like it for you. I think it makes you a beautiful
I knew
human.
it was coming.
I think it makes you a beautiful
coming.
human being. But
Yeah.
fortunately,
And that's the way Doc gives insults. He's like, yeah, that's good. Or like, yeah, no, that's dumb as shit.
Listen, Crystal is a great person.
It doesn't matter whether she's on a pole or not.
it's easy, but it's also easy for you to be there because
Yeah.
your wife is the polar opposite of that.
All right, so that was
attention.
that was a good one. That was a good one. So do us a favor before we go home. Thank you so much for another great episode with you, Azeera. Let people know where they can find you. They can find your website and support you.
Azeera.co is my website, and you'll be able to see my store. I call it my market. And then you can find me on social media at Azeera Aziza on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Excellent. Take us home.
Take us home, baby.
Thanks for joining us. If you're feeling brave, put your body count in the comment section. Until then,
Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Share this with your friends.
And we'll talk about it later. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.